Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of How to Not Suck at Teaching Music. This is something that really gets on my nerves, not only because it does a disservice to the students when you teach them this way, but because I have to undo a lot of bad habits when I pick up some private students and have to show them about improvising. Now this is about improvising and jazz in particular, not necessarily about general music education, but I think it is something that really needs to be said. And that is, chords aren't scales. Now I know what you might be thinking, of course they're not. A chord is a chord, a scale is a scale. Well, there are some people out there that think every chord has a specific scale that has to go along with it. The most common ones you see are a major 7 gets a major scale, a dominant 7 gets a mixolydian scale, and a minor 7 gets a, you guessed it, Dorian scale. Now, can these scales work over these chords? Yeah, they absolutely can. Do they always work over these chords, and are they the best option every time you see one of these chords? No. The big problem that I have with the chord scale or chord scales, these scales go over these, whatever. The big problem that I have is that you're teaching kids that every time you see this one type of chord, no matter the context, you play this scale, which is such a bad way to learn. It's kind of like the paint by numbers kind of thing where you see number 1, you paint red, no matter what. And while this could theoretically work for certain circumstances, it really limits the player and limits the student in a way where it teaches them you don't have to think about the function of the harmony. You don't have to think about the context that the chord is in. You don't think about anything. All you have to do is scan the song. Oh, find all the dominants, play mixolydians there. Find all the minor 7s, play Dorian there. Find all the major chords and just play major. And it's taken into no account what's actually going on in the song. So I posted this on an online forum, just ranting again and just saying how I feel about it. And I did get some great responses. Here's one right here. They say, it's a lot more important and useful for any level of player to do a harmonic analysis than using some less than hip teacher's shortcut of playing Dorian over every minor chord and mixolydian on every dominant chord. The melody and understanding the function of the harmony is the key to being a successful improviser, not learning to paint by number and regurgitate the same scale-based patterns on everything. That's exactly what I'm talking about. And he even says the paint by number thing there. It's so detrimental to an improviser to just say, this is one way I'm going to do it and this is the only way that works. These chords are not in a vacuum, okay? Just because it's a G7 doesn't mean it's going to be a 5 of something. It doesn't mean it's going to go to C major, always. It can and it might, and that mixolydian sound might work. But even when it's going 5-1, doesn't mean the mixolydian sound's the best option anyway, but that's beside the point. In this video, I'm not going to be giving specific examples over certain songs. That could be for something else. This is just a general Dave ranting video about this process and about the teaching process. Here's another interesting comment that I got when I posted this. This thread is pointless. Sorry. Chords and scales are related. Chords are nicely contained in scales, with self-contained passing tones. Where did I say that chords and scales aren't related? Where? When? Once? I'll wait. Oh, that's right, I didn't. Reading comprehension on the internet especially is severely lacking, and people can just say whatever they want without really reading what they're responding to and just throw it out there and just, walk away from it. And I'm sure this person, I don't even know who they are. I'm sure they're using a fake name online. They're not using their real name because, God forbid you actually stand by what you say on the internet. But if this person took 2 seconds to actually read what I wrote, I was not talking about the relationship of chords and scales. Obviously, chords and scales are very related. I'm talking about the practice of teaching students or teaching anyone, or even performing scales over chords independent from what's going on around them. That's all I'm saying. Here's another really good comment that I saw. Doesn't everyone want to be a cut and paste player though? No, that people shouldn't want to be like that. But I appreciate the humor, so I do appreciate that comment. The thing is, it's not any more difficult to teach someone functional harmony and teach someone how to create a melody through chord changes, which I believe what improvising is. You're creating your own melody over a set of chord changes. And then we use harmonic function and scales and chords and lines and licks and blah, blah, blah to create those melodies. But basically, we're creating melody. So it's not any harder, I think, to teach a student to look for chord tones and look for creating melodies and leading tone lines to sound good through chords, rather than just teaching them scale equals chord. And the reason why I say that is music should make sense. It's a weird concept, I know. Music being fun, having it make sense, enjoying it, weird. I'm one of those weird people who think that. But when you show a student a melody, they can tell you that, oh, that sounds good, that makes sense. They might not know why. You're there as the teacher to tell them why. Oh, look, in all the things you are, it starts on the third, goes up to the third, then goes back kind of to the seventh on the A flat, down to the third, the G, and it thirds and sevenths and uses these leading tone and guide tone lines to make melodies. And you could show them that on any song. You can show them that on faster songs that have more bebop oriented melodies. You can show them that on something like How High the Moon, where it leads up to the nice major third, leads up to the minor third, and uses notes in the key. I don't say scale, notes in the key to land on these good chord tones to create melodies. And once you show them that, then they can kind of figure out on their own, oh, that sounds good, it doesn't. If you just say G7 is G mixolydian, they play it. I've literally, quite literally, had students play it for me, and they play whatever, or they hang on a C natural when it's sitting on G7, and it's not leading to C, but they're sitting, and I say, did that sound good? They're like, well, I played G mixolydian. I said, that's not what I asked. I said, does it sound good? And then they say maybe yes or no. They're like, well, how does it, why doesn't it sound good? And I said, you played this, and then they always say the same thing. Well, it says G7, so I played the notes of G mixolydian. And then after composing myself, I explain all these things I'm saying now. I know I'm rambling on, and this video more than a lot of other ones really get to me because I see it firsthand, and it really puts students way behind. When you teach them this way, it really screws them up, honestly. And I know this is just for improvising in jazz, and a lot of you might say, well, I don't work on improvising until they know these basic things. Well, a bunch of the kids that I teach and that I've taught in the past, are at that higher level, that are learning to improvise, and they have a lot of technical skills, but they don't know how to use those skills to improvise, and they don't know how to use that knowledge to improvise, and they've never been taught the proper way to create effective solos and create effective melodies using the chords that they have in front of them and the function of the harmony that is in front of them. So I hope you guys found this video informative, hopefully a little bit interesting as well. If you have any experience with this, with your own teaching, or you've seen it in other students, or you've had a teacher teach you this way, or you've overcome it in some way, please let me know in the comments below. I love hearing these stories about how these videos relate to people and how they help people, or if I got something wrong, let me know as well. I'm not saying that this is the only way you can learn how to, learn improvising or something, but I'm just saying this specific issue has come up a lot, and I really wanted to address it. Also, we are approaching December, so that means my Christmas tune of the day will be starting back up. For those of you who don't know, I will be posting a new video of a different Christmas song every single day from December 1st through Christmas Day on December 25th, so 25 separate videos. I'll have all sorts of different instrumentation. I'll have solo stuff, piano, saxophone, some other instruments yet to be named, stuff from gigs, big band, duo, all sorts of different stuff. So please stay tuned for that. Subscribe to make it a lot easier to stay updated on all the notifications for that. And you can check out last year's playlist right here. Please subscribe right here. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.